Hey guys, Skartishu here, bringing you another edition of Engine Company Gaming, this time with a guide to the Machinist. Now this is a class that I don't have a ton of experience on. I don't have a large back history of playing DPS classes. I've dabbled, of course, in every game. You know, I've always been a tank. However, due to some constringent class decisions and things going on with my raid group, I opted to go Machinist for our raid group. Now, the reason why I chose the Machinist over the Bard is because our raid team has more physical damage than it does magical. Um, with the Dragoon Machinist combo, as well as the Ninja Warrior, and we have one Black Mage, the physical damage is just outweighs the one magical for the Bard. Whereas the Machinist can always adapt. And I think that's one of the things I'd like to talk about today as well with the Machinist is its ability to adapt. Not a whole lot of people play the Machinist. I've noticed its population is pretty meager. And I don't know why. As far as a DPS class goes, it is pretty powerful. Its burst is one of the best. And it's very chance-based, yes, but if you get lucky, you win. So we'll be talking about that as well as some cross-class abilities and everything. So with all that, I'd like to jump right into it. The Machinist is a ranged DPS class that uses dexterity and has the awesome ability of moving while shooting. However, if you have Gauss Barrel on, you cannot move while shooting. Some of the basic stuff is its stats is dexterity, so of course you're going to be putting all your stats into dexterity because, well, that's where all your damage and everything comes from. Gearing wise, I haven't optimized my class yet. I still have a lot of gear everywhere because of a bunch of different rerolls for my raid group. But I did, however, get my esoteric gun and chest piece, and I'm working on some more as well as I have all my Gordian things with this class. Now, this guide will be coming out just before 3.1, and there's some changes coming to a lot of classes, as well as more content coming. So be prepared for that in the future as well. Some of the abilities for the Machinist in general, a lot of like I said, your chance based. So your main ability is Split Shot. It is a low potency 140. It has a 50% chance of causing the next slug of proccing Slug Shot to be instant cast. Without that, and increasing its potency by 80. Without that proc, Slug Shot is less damage than Split Shot, so there's no point in doing a Slug Shot without having the proc. Now this is where a lot of people have a lot of problems with the Machinist, is the fact that you don't always have the same combo rotation. You don't go from point A to point B 1, 2, 3 or 1, 3, 5, so on and so forth. You don't have a set rotation. It's all chance based. And the one thing I like about that is the fact that I can store my combo. And what I mean by that is when you're doing your opener, at one point you don't go 1, 2, 3. Instead, you 1, 2, you load your 3, 1 again to load your 2, and you do 3, 2, 3. So the fact of the matter is you can put out a lot of burst damage really quickly by going through your high damage abilities really fast instead of going to your 1 all the time. So that, I think that's why they designed it this way, is the fact that you can load your ammunition or load your procs and hold your procs for a time if you want to be able to put out burst damage at a certain point. So kind of think about it like that, instead of thinking like, oh, I'm unlucky, I'm not getting my procs and this and that. When you get them, you can load them, and you should be using them. If you don't have reload, which will give you 5 ammunition, which makes all your casts proc 100% of the time, and also makes Slug Shot and Clean Shot instant casts with ammunition. Don't hold your ammo. If you use the way it should go for normal rotation is if you should always be doing Split Shot. If your Split Shot procs Slug Shot, then do Slug Shot. If your Slug Shot procs Clean Shot, then Clean Shot. However, if you're split shot, proc slug shot, use slug shot. If your slug shot does not proc clean shot, go back to split shot, and then so forth. And that's how you do a normal rotation with a machinist. Is basically working your way through your procs while also using quick reload. So this will give you 1 ammunition and also a 100% chance of getting your proc. So if you have a quick reload available, you will do split shot, proc your slug shot, use quick reload, hit slug shot, and then get your clean shot. Or if you have reassemble ready and quick reload ready, split shot, slug shot. If you get your clean shot, then you can do quick reload, reassemble, and have a high damage clean shot. So it's all about how you play and your decisions. It's very adaptable, and it's all based on how the person plays. But yeah, don't hold your ammo, or don't hold your procs if you don't have reload. If you have reload, then you can do the 1-2, load your 3 proc for clean shot, hold it, go back to 1, proc your slug shot, and then do clean shot, slug shot, clean shot, and do a ton of damage. Okay? With your reload. I just want to make that clear. You have 2 cooldowns that you need to keep up at 100% of the time. Lead shot is your highest total damage potency ability. It is your dot. It lasts for 30 seconds and does a ton of damage over that time. I think it's like 490 potency total in that 30 seconds. So it's kind of a lot of damage and something you need to keep up. As well as hot shot. Hot shot is 120 potency, but it also increases your physical damage dealt by 5%, and its duration is 30 seconds. So try to link these two together, so that when you see your lead shot coming down on your enemy status bar, you know to hot shot. Or if you're looking at your status bar and you see hot shot coming off, you know to lead shot. I personally always link these two as close together as I possibly can. I may pop an off global cooldown in between the two abilities, but I always try to link the two together so that when I see whatever I'm looking at the time, I will always know my timer. So if I'm looking at the enemy and I'm looking at his status bar, I know lead shot's coming low, I know hot shot's up. Or if I'm looking at myself and I see hot shot getting low, I know lead shot's getting low. So try to link those two together. That's the best way you can manage it, because 30 seconds you do kind of forget about them. It's not like the Bard where they're kind of 18 seconds and you're always managing your dots. This is something 30 seconds and you will forget about them. You'll be doing your wildfire combo and you will completely forget about them. And if you don't have that up before that, then you're losing a ton of damage, and that just does not work. The next ability I want to talk about is Wildfire. Wildfire is your biggest burst ability. It's insane. It covers the target's body in a slow burning pitch. Basically, you throw a bomb on them. Now, when you say a bomb, you expect when it to go boom, it makes a big boom. Well, it kind of does a poof and some damage. So a lot of people complain about the whole animation and it doesn't make it feel special and all that. But when you put out an 8 to 9K Wildfire, why are you complaining? That's just crazy. So basically, you cover the target in a slow burning pitch. For the next 15 seconds, 25% of most damage you inflict upon the target is compiled, then dealt at the end of the effect's duration. Now what this means is pretty much all your damage that you do to him is compiled. So you're damaging like normal, right? And at the same time, you're pocketing extra 25% of that damage off to the side. So take 25% of your damage, so 1,000. Say you do 1,000 damage. We'll just use a low number. It's easy to envision. So every time you do 1,000 damage, you're pocketing 250 damage. At the end of that 15 seconds, however much damage you did, 25% of that is going to just go poof and do that to them. I wish I could say it goes boom, but that's alright. I don't care. I love seeing a 9K proc. If I can get myself to a 9K proc, I know I'm doing good. It's a lot of damage, and it just comes all at once. And it's while you're doing your combos. It's while you're doing your reload, all your buffs, all your abilities, and it's just a ton of damage that just comes as extra. It's like, here you go, extra damage, have fun. And I don't know why people complain about it. That's where your burst is centered around as a machinist, is wildfire, and it's on a minute 30 cooldown. So what this means is you have a lot of abilities that are on a minute to a minute 30 cooldown. So reloads on a minute. Quick reload, you should always use it whenever it's up at 15 seconds of a reload. Rapid fire, I believe, is on a 90 second, so you can tie in rapid fire with your wildfire. We also have hypercharge, which is on a 2-minute cooldown, so you will be kind of holding it, kind of not. So this is what we'll be talking about as well. Now, with wildfire, what you'll do is you have all your buffs, and here comes your additional needed cross-class abilities. Invigorate for TP, yes. Blood for blood, of course. Raging strikes, of course. Faint, I'll get into that in a second. And Hawk's Eye. If you notice, blood for blood is on 80 seconds. Hawk's Eye is on 90. But we just talked about wildfire being on 90. Wait 10 seconds. Do not use blood for blood every time it comes up. Tie it in with wildfire. Yes, I know you don't want to wait, but 10 seconds to have a more powerful wildfire and have it up for the whole duration of wildfire means you do a more wildfire damage proc. Okay, so hold blood for blood with wildfire. I know it. Sometimes you just get twitchy on that one. Raging Strikes is 180 seconds. It's a long time. Now, Faint. The reason I take Faint isn't because of the slow or anything like that. With Gauss Barrel on, we cannot move and shoot. However, you're not always going to be dropping Gauss Barrel to run around. Because not all the time you're going to have to run around the whole time. You're not going to be running around all the time. More often than not, you're going to be standing still anyways, and just move slightly to get out of the red circles, or to get out of whatever is going on. To get out of the dangerous stuff, you don't have to run. Okay? So this whole argument that I can't move and shoot is just whatever. You're moving slightly. So while you're moving slightly, you can use Faint and put out damage instead of putting out no damage, because this is instant cast. It does not trigger Gauss's cast time. So that's about 1,600 damage that you're putting out while you have to move to dodge something instead of putting out no damage. So it's better than nothing. Don't spam it. Yes, it's a TP drainer at 80. But what I'm saying is use it smartly and move smart and be rewarded for moving smart. Okay? So for Wildfire, we're going to be tying in basically everything. For our first Wildfire, we're going to be tying in Blood for Blood, Raging Strikes, Hawk's Eye, Hypercharge, Reload, Wildfire. Okay, then we're going to go through our combo. We're going to be doing a ton of damage. We're going to be critting using Reassemble on our clean shots. Rapid Fire for instant casts. And we're going to do a ton of damage. That first one is going to hit 8 to 9k if you do it properly. Okay. At a minute and 30, we get a minimum one. What I say by a minimum one is you will have Blood for Blood, Hawk's Eye. You won't have Hypercharge. You'll have your reload back, and you'll have your reassemble back. Okay? Then you're going to Wildfire again, and you're going to get about a 4 to 5k proc. And then at the 3-minute mark, you get everything again, and then here's more damage. And then at the 4-minute 30 mark, here's a half burst. And at the 6-minute mark, here's a full burst. See how this works? Everything you're kind of just keeping your damage, as constant as you can with your procs in between that time. But at your opener, your minute 30, your 3-minute, your 4:30, and this is why I was saying tie in all your stuff together, because then you just keep your clock going. That's basically how it works. Just keep your clock moving. Minute 30, 3-minute, 4-minute 30, 6-minute. By then you should be close to being out or done, but it works that way. And it works well that way. So that's one of the things I like to talk about when I talk about the Machinist is its ability to burst, its ability to tie things together. Everything's nice and neat. The only thing is everybody complains about the proc chance, but you can hold them. When you get a proc, it's like a buff, and you can hold it, and then you can use it whenever. So that's always nice, and that's just some stuff as well. So yeah, I would say you have to get Blood for Blood, Raging Strikes, and Hawk's Eye, because that's a lot of damage. I mean, 15% dex and guarantees all attacks land. 20% damage and 10%. So if you don't have your other classes leveled at least 34 or whatever, you need to do that. Get on it and get it done, because it's well worth it. This class is also pretty dang good at PvP. It's one of the things I do on this game too. I'm not a huge raider. I like raiding, especially in this game. The content's hard and it challenges you and it pushes you. But I'm a PvP fiend. I come from a ton of PvP games. It's where most of my background is. So yes, I PvP. This class actually surprised me how well I do in PvP with it. Mostly because of this ability, Between the Eyes. You have a lot of slow stuns and ability to control. That's just the way the Machinist works, which is awesome, right? This ability, Between the Eyes, if you PvP, I don't know if you do or not, delivers an attack with a potency of 150. If the target is bound, stunned, asleep, the potency triples. So we're talking about 450. We can shorten the recast time to 90. We can increase the potency to 180, so 180 times 3. And then increase critical hit rate by 10%. So yeah, I put all three things in that, because when I hit somebody with that, it's like I hit them with a wildfire proc and they die. It's pretty nice. Especially when I tie it into, my bind. Where's that? Where's Foot Graze? Foot Graze. There's your bind. Yeah. You have a bind on command, and then Between the Eyes. Does a lot of damage. A lot of things are centered around your turrets as well. If you have a more magical composition, say you have a summoner or a black mage, you'll use the bishop turret. Right? It's less damage for a single target than the rook. The only time you'll bust out your bishop, if you have more magical composition, is before a hypercharge. And this is off the global cooldown, so you can switch turrets at any time besides the cooldowns on them. Right? So if you have a wildfire coming up, and you have a hypercharge wildfire coming up, and you have a summoner and a black mage, unlike my composition where I have mostly physical, you will bust out your bishop, you will hypercharge it, and then your mages get to do 10% more damage, or 5%, yeah, 5% more damage. Okay? And that keeps refreshing for, I think, roughly 25 seconds if you can time it right. So about 25 seconds of 5% additional magic damage. And then you'll bust out your rook again, because your rook does more damage over time than your bishop, right? So if you have more of a physical composition, you'll just always have your rook out, right? And that increases physical damage taken by 5% again. So all your physical classes are doing 5% more damage over about 25 seconds, roughly, right? So that is nice, especially when you tie it in with a ninja's trick attack. You tie it in with Dismember for yourself. You tie it in with Storm's Eye for all the slashers. It's really freaking nice on openers, because just being able to melt the boss down like Faust. When I went Machinist, we melted it down to, I think, 50% in the opener. With hypercharged rook turret. So with all those things tying in together, it's a lot. So if you don't have a Machinist in your group and you're thinking about doing it, do it. It's awesome. It's great. What else to cover? Don't use blank just to do damage, unless if it's a boss. If it's a boss, then sure. But if it's trash, don't do it. People get mad. They yell at you. It's kind of... Unless you want to troll them, it's kind of funny. We were doing turn 9 last night, and I kept, blanking the frickin' golems to try to see if I could scare everybody into them fusing together. Doing the DBZ fusion dance for the golems in turn 9, which will wipe us. But I didn't. I actually fused them together. Just funny to listen to everybody yell on TeamSpeak over it. I'm not really gonna showcase the opener. I kind of just wanted to cover the abilities and talk about the Machinist. There are a ton of opener videos out there that do a really good job of showing the math and the science behind it all. So watch those. I will say, you know, watch those. I'm not good at math. I'm a fireman. I suck at math. Math is hard. A couple other things that are awesome about the Machinist before I go is Dismantle and Rend Mind. They both share a cooldown, so you have to pick and choose which one to use. Boss does more physical damage, then use Dismantle. If the boss does more magical damage, Rend Mind. Now in A1 Savage, which is where we're stuck, Rend Mind is awesome. You can save your tank 5% damage off of that hyper compressed plasma, which is the tank buster. You can save 5% of that for the tank. So all you have to do is just, you know, hit the boss at the right time. Know the timing of it, hit it, Rend Mind, save 5%. As with any other boss, even physical bosses, Dismantle will save the tank some damage. So do it. I mean, if you have it up, it is a long cooldown. I mean, 90 seconds is a while, but every 90 seconds is a tank buster in A1 Savage. So try to do it. Try to be helpful. You're kind of a support, being that, you know, your Rook turret regenerates TP when you use promotion, and your Bishop turret regenerates MP when you use promotion, which I haven't really talked about. But yes, your turrets will stop damage and start regenerating TP MP. Which your turrets account for about 15% of your DPS, so you don't want to do it for a long period of time. But if someone needs MP, give them MP. If someone needs TP, give them TP. That's what you're there for, right? Not to do a crap ton of damage. That's, you know, for your goons and your monks. But you can do damage. I think I parsed 1,300 at one point. So yeah, we can keep up with them. I like it. But that's pretty much all I really wanted to cover with Machinist, guys. If you guys have any other questions or anything, you know, please post a comment below. I'll always answer and talk back. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. You know, it's all free. I don't hate. I usually try to get back to everybody who comments. I really do strive to try to do that. I'm trying to, you know, keep up with this and keep up a good community. So I appreciate you guys' support, continued support, and appreciate you guys watching this video. And I am going to be going. I gotta go level some crafters. Alright. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Appreciate it. Skartishu out.